my creative friends, and welcome back to Zen and Creativity YouTube channel, your daily source of artistic inspiration during the Inktober Tangles 2023. I'm Yehudit Steinberg, your Certified Zentangle Teacher, and it's an absolute delight to be here with you once again. If you're enjoying our videos, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing that bell of notification so you never miss a moment of creative exploration. We're dedicated to making the Zentangle method accessible to everyone, whether you're a beginner or an experienced tangler. No question is too small, so feel free to ask us in the comments. And better yet, don't forget to join our lively Sunday virtual art lab. It's a perfect place to connect with like-minded artists from around the world and get your questions answered. You can get all that information in the description of this video. And for your convenience, I have now added chapters in the video descriptions so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. But before we dive into today's tangles, let's take a moment to revisit the beautiful patterns we've explored in the past few days. On day 12, we delved into a moth, a beautiful border tangle, followed by I Can This on day 13, an ancient pattern that we've learned how to create. And then Prima, our ballerina floral tangle on day 14. If you haven't seen these videos, the link is in the description. And it's always a pleasure to learn and create together. Now let's get started with today's tangle, Scara, deconstructed by Midori Furuhashi, CZT. I do hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. For your convenience, I've added chapters in the video description so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step, your choice. Check the video description for the quick navigation. Today's tangle is called Scara, and this tangle is used a lot in the Zentangle method technique that we call take off and land. It connects two elements of a motif, and in this case of Scara, these are the circles. In other tangles, these can be squares or right shapes. By taking off or retracing the outside edge of the circle with the stroke and landing on the outside edge or the end in the case of the right shapes of the second element. This technique results in a smooth curved transition stroke from one element to the next. It is used a lot in a lot of patterns. It gives a lot of motion to your tangle pattern. We start with orbs. As I do every day during Inktober as we are learning these patterns, I offer you the step out, and now is the time for you to take a screenshot. Step outs are a great way to learn the characteristic of patterns. As a matter of fact, a number of these patterns I've never done before, including Scara, and I had to learn it. And drawing the step out, by the time I got to step 6, I really understood the pattern, and I had made the misjudgments or learned the intricacies of how to create the pattern as was deconstructed. So I have Tangle Step Out templates for you in the beginner's guide. And I also have 2-inch bijou tile, a page of that for your practice. And a number of us are doing the mandala that I created, and this is a picture of the template that you received. And this is a picture of the art piece that I'm doing for Inktober, where I have created a watercolor wash background, and then using my little light table, I traced the pattern, the template that's in your beginner's guide, and each day I am putting a different tangle into each of those squares. So now you're looking at the first 7 days. Tomorrow happens to be Saturday during Inktober, and I will be adding the 7 tangles that we have learned this week. And then on Sunday, we have the Zoom art lab, where you can come and you can ask questions, you can show the work you've done, and it's a really great way to engage in the community. Now it's time to draw Scara, and I'm using a 2-inch bijou tile. I'm going to start with the typical Zentangle method of 4 dots in a corner and connect them to create a border. What we do in Zentangle method is we are creating deconstructed patterns that we go step by step, and it makes it accessible, especially to beginners and to non-artists. What I did in this step out, and I've done it in a few of them, because I want to position it in the center, I have drawn some center lines, and then we're going to position these orbs, these circles, in a specific place on our tile, and that helps to end up with what we're looking for, which is this. So I'm going to eyeball it as the center, and then I'm using my graphite pencil to divide it, which I didn't really get it. That it doesn't really matter, but I didn't quite get it even, but it's good enough. It will work. So I'm just gonna set them on here by pencil, just to make sure that I have them where I want them on the before I start with the pen. I find it works a little better. I think this should be up. I think this should be up a little bit, so I'm just gonna give it that. Now that looks like where they can be located. So I'm going to take my 01, which is a very fine point, and I'm going to ink in these circle or orbs. I turn my tile to keep my hand in the same place that it's comfortable to get the best lines that I can get. So okay, so that is step one. Okay. So now we're going to learn the take off and land. So I'm going to look at this first orb up here. And on the take off and land, we start and retrace the circle, and we come down and we connect and come around. And what we've done is we are on the left side of this orb up here, and we bring it down and we connect it to this left side. Sometimes when you do take off and land, it might be the other way, but this is the way we're doing it. Now we're going to turn our tile, because that's going to make sure that we are just going to repeat this for each of these circles. We're going to create spokes. And we're going to, what we say is take off and land. We're going to take off and we're going to land. You know, it took me a little while to get used to this technique. So if you don't get it the first time, be easy on yourself. Okay, so step 3 is going to put in another set of circles. And those circles are going to be right here. We're going to move on to step 4, and we're going to connect. We're actually connecting this with just a C line. And it goes like this. So it's a takeoff and land, but it's a little different. And we turn our tile. And don't worry if at this stage how your pattern really looks. We're creating the framework here. So it'll come together in just another step. So we're actually, this is a takeoff and land too. It's just a little different. We're going on the outside, we're coming around, and we're staying on the outside, and we're connecting with that. Okay, now we are going to connect, and we're going to form this petal. So we're going to start on the inside, and we're going to take off and land. There you go, petal 1. Turn your tile, petal 2. It's like magic. 3. We're going to take off and we're going to land. And land, and we have one more. See what's doing. We have now created Scara. So we're going to do some embellishments. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my number 8 and I'm going to go into all of these orbs or circles. I'm going to put some ink. Now this, what I'm doing when I'm doing embellishing, this is optional. And if you have a different idea and want to do it differently than I'm doing it, that's totally fine, because this is where we start to create our own piece of artwork. We'll embellish, we'll shade, and we'll appreciate the work that we've created. And we appreciate the artist who deconstructed this pattern so that we can actually put this together, even if we are not an artist of sorts. We're all artists when we start creating, but I would not have known how to put this together unless I had to step out and I was shown. Now, before I put my gold touches in there, I'm going to come in and shade. I'm going to shade down here because that has a little depth to it. I'm also going to shade very lightly across these petals. This is a blossom tangle. That's the category that I put it in. So now with the blending stump, I'm going to go down in here and pull it up. And on the tips. I want to leave this area here white. So I can, if we make it all gray, then it doesn't have any, kind of blurs it. So you want to go lightly. Don't be afraid to experiment with shading though, because it really is what gives your patterns dimension, and it takes practice, like everything else, to learn. So now my finishing touches for this beautiful pattern is going to be some gold, just to give it a little bit of bling. I could create a border and then have a pattern or what have you, but ooh, sorry for shaking the camera. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to do this pattern. It's so pretty, and it just has a lot of movement to it. And you know what I see now that I'm looking again is that I have a few spots that I missed. So there you have it. That is Scara, day 15. If you're enjoying our tutorials and haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It helps us reach more creative folks like yourself. And don't forget about our Sunday virtual art lab. It's a vibrant community where we learn, share, and grow together. Check the description for all the details. Don't forget, I've added chapters in the video description so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. As we look ahead, mark your calendars for our upcoming beginner series in November. It's the perfect opportunity to deepen your Zentangle practice. Plus, for those who'd like to show extra support and buy us a virtual cup of coffee, visit our Ko-fi.com tip jar. Your support keeps this creative space going. Well, that's it for today's Tangle exploration. Remember, there's no behind, just a world of creativity ahead. Stay inspired, and we'll see you on day 16. Happy tangling!